Very exciting breakfast.
Yeah, it's not like.
We're on the right bus.
I mean, yeah. This is I didn't love this. Where did I come out of the ground?
VIP area for the Mizuno crew before and after the race. That's mine. You know it's going to be cold when they give out a survival blanket.
Straight singlet or? I have a singlet and short sleeves, so I think I'll wear them over. Yeah.
The race would be really awful. Like this is the amount of gel I brought. Like, do you take? I take so many.
What's that chemical? Meth?
I'm not from Bunbury.
Actually, let me have a look.
You won't be able to figure it out.
Won't be able to figure it out? Yeah, what is it?
It's allegedly the endorphin release for running.
Oh, that's actually good. I rate that.
I'm just looking at football.
Sounds very good, man. You did a very good job. I'll do it. Pop out.
I could have done it out there.
There we go. Paddington over there. Do you need a Marmite sandwich, mate?
Not enough.
Jack! Jack! 39. Okay, we're back at the hotel room after the Osaka marathon. Honestly, couldn't be more stoked. We went sub 240, got the 239.39, average pace of around 346, and honestly couldn't be happier. We actually ended up having some pacing help the entire way through, or 32 Ks of the way through, from Nathan Doig, one of the running warehouse guys. Somehow he still has a 2:38 in the legs, even after 2 or 3 years not running or training for marathons. He just does a few runs around the place, 80 Ks a week, some umpiring, but he was able to get me through first 32 exactly on pace. Dropped me at the 32K mark when there was the only hill of the course. So yeah, really appreciate it, mate. You're probably not watching it, but yeah, that was absolutely unreal. Couldn't have been a better race overall. Pretty much a slight negative split. I would say it was perfectly paced. We ended up breaking it down into 5K chunks, which was maybe a little bit frustrating in the first K because it was quite busy. Was kind of just jogging really at the start. But once we got rolling, got some space, it was kind of nice to just mentally switch off and just look at the 5K splits. So going through those 5K splits, first 5K, 350, 346, 347, 346, 345, 345, 342, 344, and then we rounded out the last 2.6 kilometers at 331 pace. So we were feeling good at about 32 Ks, so license to push, but we just kind of turned it up just a little bit, going from about 345 to 342, and then we had enough to push it along in the final Ks just to make sure that I got that sub 240. Overall, the conditions were completely perfect. I ended up going with just the singlet and the arm sleeves, and I was perfect in temperature. Wasn't too cold. I considered taking my arm sleeves off at some points, but then it started to snow at about 15 Ks. There was probably 3 sections, about 7 or 8 minutes where it was properly snowing, but it was just kind of, drizzling in terms of snow throughout the rest of the race. It was cold, and I definitely finished with my legs and skin burning from the cold, but overall, I think that was the best race conditions that I've ever had. I really feel like I got it perfect. I finished with, a bit of a kick, but I didn't feel like I left anything in the tank, really just emptied it. So yeah, I'm just honestly so happy with this opportunity. So just had so much fun over the last couple of days. I feel really satisfied. I feel like I can leave the marathon for a little bit now, having done, put down a good performance. Feel like I've kind of got the best out of my body during the summer as well. In terms of my fueling, we took on 4 of my Bix gels, so 80 grams an hour, but we left the last one. Really just didn't feel like taking it on, which is, going against my usual policy. I always say that I should take on the last gel of the long run to help with recovery. But by the time we got to 2:30, I knew I was going to get home. So that went down quite well. I got a fair bit of race footage, which you'll probably already have seen depending on how I structure this video. But I did end up accidentally pressing the button and recording 14 minutes of the inside of my gel pocket. I'm going to be relying a little bit on some footage that other people got. So hopefully it comes together quite nicely. Chatting about the shoes, the Wave Rebellion Pro 3. I really enjoyed this shoe. I was not expecting to have such a good time, but I had 0 issues whatsoever, no instability, no blisters or chafing. A little bit of hot spots underneath my forefoot, but I get that from all shoes that I run in for over 30 Ks at pace. As a bit of a forefoot striker, it's just going to happen. But overall, felt smooth, felt strong. I felt like I could really lock into a rhythm. I'm actually thinking that this is probably getting towards my kind of top 3 in terms of preferences for the marathon. Just in terms of that rhythm, that response. I feel like I locked into a pace a little bit better than the Cloudboom Strike from On, and just, really pleased with how this shoe performed. Obviously, I haven't had the opportunity to run in a lot of other shoes for 16 weeks straight, do a fantastic race in it. Obviously, I'm going to have a bit of a soft spot for this shoe now that I've got my PB in it, but I do think that this is a really nice shoe, definitely performs to the level of those other top-end racing options. So yeah, pretty much perfect race. The only thing that I would say went wrong was at about maybe the 10 or 12k mark. I stepped on a bottle from one of the elites, like one of the ones with the pipe cleaners on top so that they can grab it. Didn't see it, came out of nowhere. I was running in a pack, so even though my eyes were on the ground, it just, appeared out of nowhere, and my ankle went completely over the shoe, pretty much touched the ground. I'll probably have a little bit of a scratch on the outside edge of my shoe. I thought my race was over for a second, like putting a little bit of pressure on it, it felt like I'd sprained it, but ended up being fine. I think I'm one of those people that just never sprains their ankles ever, can completely turn it over, turn it inside out, and I'm still fine. So very pleased to have that genetics to make me immune to that kind of injury. So that was a little bit of a scare. Was a little bit angry for a second. I don't know what at, just chuck your bottles on the ground. That's, you're elite, you can do what you want. I reckon it probably bounced off a curb or something and bounced back into the pack. So I'm not actually annoyed, but at the time, you just feel like it's out of your control, and I was worried that my race would be over before it really got going. So that was the only thing that really went wrong. Other than that, perfect temperature, not too windy. It got a little bit cold with the snow blowing in your face, and I wish I did wear sunglasses. That would probably be the only change that I would make. But overall, just had so much fun. The depth of field really played in as well, like being able to have people around you for the whole race and being able to pick people off as well. Like, I think a lot of the guys here went out quite hard. Like, I don't think I got passed by anybody on the way home. I think there was a few people who probably picked me off at maybe 10Ks, but a lot of them I just, kind of collected on the way back through. Finished with a pretty good sprint, so I think it was good to be able to chase down. There wasn't necessarily any like strong packs, which we really stuck with. Me and Nathan led a pack for maybe 5 or 6Ks at one point, but overall it was just like a slow progression through the field, which mentally was a really good feeling. Had 3 people on course recognise me and shout me out, which was pretty cool to see. Had the Mizuno guys on the edge of the course cheering us on, so that was really cool. And just in general, like, Japan really is a running country. Like, when we arrived here and we were kind of walking around the streets at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, we weren't seeing many people running, and so I was like, like, do people really care about the marathon? Because, along the coast in Australia, you see a lot of people running, jogging on their Saturday mornings, but obviously it is the middle of winter here, or it's winter, so the conditions aren't great. But once we got out on course, there was people the entire way cheering, clapping, boomsticks, just everybody out to see the marathon. It really is a huge part of their culture here, and it was just a fantastic event to be part of. Huge participation as well, like hundreds of runners in Wave A where we started. Fair few went out quite hard, but we were just surrounded for the entire race, which is really cool to see. Bit of a shoe nerd tangent, noticed a lot of shoes on feet. There was a lot of dominance from ASICs, I would say, like the Magic Speed 4, the Meta Speed had a lot of appearances, and also the S4 model, which I talked about, the Japanese specific model for the 4-hour marathoners. There was a lot of people rocking those shoes. Saw a couple of Rebellions out there, a fair few of the lows, like the lower ones, the ones that I just picked up. I saw a fair few more of these out there, which I think probably speaks to the fact that they have a little bit more stability. There was a fair few Alpha Flies still, but definitely a lot more ASICS dominance than what you see in Australia, which was pretty interesting. There was also a fair few more people running in just low stack racing flats, Emperors. Saw a few of the ASICS Hyperspeeds, and even some Takumi Sens, people were running the full marathon in those. So maybe a little bit of a lower stack preference there as well. The event itself was really well organised too, like heaps of staff out on the course. The water stations were really nicely put together. There was never a chance that you were going to miss the water or miss the nutrition or anything like that. Yeah, it was just really well put together. Once we finished, we got a full bag of snacks and our medal and everything else. Some hot soup once we crossed the line. And also the Mizuno crew themselves, like they were there waiting for us, grabbing our bags, giving us some towels and another poncho to stay warm and get back to the VIP area, which was, yeah, that was really handy. And we got a bus back to the hotel pretty quickly, so we weren't standing around freezing for too long. So yeah, overall, great success. Couldn't be happier. This is going to be one of the best days of my life, I reckon. Like, just so excited to finally tick that off and feel like I executed the race the way that I planned to, with no real, no caveats, no real problems that happened along the way. Just pretty much the perfect race on a perfect trip. Couldn't be more happy. Really appreciate all the support from you guys as well. Had heaps of messages from people who were tracking my bib as the race went on. Fantastic to see all the messages as well. Really means a lot. Might not get around to answering all of them, but yeah, really appreciate the support.
No, I just want to see what they had written on it.
I'll let them get a drink.
I thought you were walking acid.
What's the game?
Like when you actually have a feel and then you get it developed and like 3 months later you're like, why did I waste?
Is that a caterpillar on that leaf? Or
Why was I taking that photo?
yeah.
None of us.
I thought you were going to get a shot. Taking a photo of the car.
I was just lost.
You got
Oh no, we got chairs.
Almost in 2 months to prepare for the tour. Absolutely. So they only dedicated, extremely dedicated to this tour. So big thanks to the team members. So thank you very much for the last 3 days and wish you all best. Good job!
great supporting the marathon. What's right there? So this is called Brooklyn Body.
Oi, influencer. Get him! Okay,
You gotta get in the photo.
who's this running guy that you guys keep talking about?
It's huge!
And then gonna take us to change the show. She tags along and tags in the crowd. Look at the man, she just turned down.
Okay, it's 5:30. We're about to catch a train to the airport for a 9:50 flight back to Hong Kong, back to Perth. Feeling pretty good. Had a couple of hours sleep. We'll catch up on the rest once we're on the plane. It's been a great trip. This has been some of the best fun that I've had in recent memory, probably ever, honestly. It's been so good to experience a different country, see all this nerdy shoe stuff, and yeah, I guess honestly just kind of see how a big brand operates in terms of their design direction, their retail, how they try and cultivate running experiences with their product. I think it's pretty cool to see. Big thank you to Mizuno, big thank you to Running Warehouse for letting me tag along with them. It's just been a lot of fun. A little bit sad that the trip is coming to an end, but I am also keen to get home, get a couple nights sleep, and yeah, see my family and tell them about the awesome trip that I've just had.
Please be careful when opening the compartment.